Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're plunging into the fascinating, really intricate world of con artistry and high-stakes crime. It all centers around a famous artist and a twist you absolutely won't see coming. Our guide for this journey is Jerry Bader's compelling narrative, The Redhead Ripoff, The Art of the Grift. It's a tale that, well, promises to reveal layers of deception, some pretty dangerous characters, and some truly unexpected betrayals.
And our mission with this deep dive, really, is to unpack how a multi-layered grift, involving everything from art forgery, organized crime, and some incredibly clever double crosses, how that can actually unfold. We'll be exploring the motivations, the methods behind these intricate schemes, showing just how complex, how deeply rooted these deceptions can become.
So let's set the stage. We need to step back in time, turn of the 20th century, into the intriguing world of Gustav Klimt.
Yeah.
Hugely successful Austrian artist, famous for his, well, exotic figurative paintings and drawings. But, his career wasn't exactly smooth sailing.
No, definitely not. Controversial is the word.
Right. Can you imagine a university commission, something grand like the Great Hall of the University of Vienna, paintings titled Philosophy, Medicine, Jurisprudence, and they get dubbed pornographic?
Yeah, pornographic. And they were never even displayed because of it. It's pretty wild.
So that pushed him towards only private commissions after that, right?
Exactly. Which is actually a crucial element here. Klimt's life, his work, particularly his reliance on these wealthy, often Jewish patrons and models, it really sets the historical backdrop for this entire grift we're looking at. And there's a tragic side, too. Many of his paintings were confiscated by the Nazis during World War II.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then in 1945, as the war was ending, retreating SS forces actually set fire to Immendorf Castle. That's where many of Klimt's masterpieces were being stored. Lost forever.
It's devastating.
It is. But what's truly pivotal for our story is this enduring mystery around one of his favorite models, a beautiful bohemian redhead named Hilda Roth. You'd recognize her from paintings like Lady with Hat and Boa, Danae, Goldfish, very famous works. But whatever happened to Fraulein Roth, nobody really knows for sure. That historical enigma, that gap in the story, becomes the key, the perfect opening for the con.
And that historical mystery, that unknown fate of Hilda Roth, leads us directly to the modern-day bait. A woman named Helen. Picture this. A casting call. Seems totally normal, right? Scarborough, Ontario. Looking for a beautiful, red-headed figure model or actress.
Sounds innocent enough on the surface.
But the terms, they were specific. Exciting live performance, commitment for several months, non-union. And listen to this. Substantial fee. $1,000 a week. Minimum 5 weeks.
$1,000 a week? Okay, that's a lot.
Plus a potential bonus and international travel required. I mean, it sounds like a dream job for some, maybe, but my alarm bells are ringing.
Yeah, mine too. And this really shows the meticulous planning right from the start. At that casting call, we meet the first players. There's Bobby Bloom. He's an ex-French DGSE agent. That's France's foreign intelligence agency. So, a background in espionage, covert ops, maybe false identities.
Yeah.
Skills that are pretty useful in a big grift.
Definitely.
Then there's Paulie St. Clair, an LA lawyer.
Yeah.
But interestingly, he has a gambling problem, a clear vulnerability, right?
Okay. A weakness they can exploit.
Potentially. And then there's Helen Roth herself. She's given this very specific backstory. She's Jewish, orphaned in Israel, parents killed in a bomb attack, raised in a Tel Aviv orphanage until 16.
Wow, very specific.
Very. And she supposedly used her time in the Israeli army to prove her toughness. This detailed, verifiable-sounding background, it's absolutely crucial. It gives the whole grift this veneer of authenticity it needs to work.
Okay, so they've got the bait, they've got some initial players. Let's dig into how this elaborate con really takes shape. At the center, the orchestrator, King Young.
Ah, King Young.
He's described as the rich, privileged, arrogant, shallow, compulsive, and cruel youngest son of Benson Young.
And Benson Young isn't just anyone. He's the dragonhead of the Hongmian, LA's most powerful triad organization.
So serious organized crime connections. And King isn't subtle, apparently. Totally unlike his older brother, Henry, who's described as articulate, polite, thoughtful.
Right. King's the opposite. Flashy dresser, like right out of a fashion magazine, bright yellow sports jackets over black silk shirts, that kind of thing.
Got it. Not exactly blending in.
Not at all. And what really stands out about his operation is the sheer theatricality of it all. He sets up in this old abandoned warehouse in the LA Arts District, but inside, he transforms it into an exact replica of Gustav Klimt's studio.
No way. Like a movie set.
Pretty much. Fake walls, period furniture, even antique cameras. It's all about creating this immersive reality. If the environment feels real, the lie at the center feels more believable, even to the people involved in the con, maybe.
So why go to all that trouble?
The purpose was chillingly precise. Photograph Helen Roth, dressed in period costume as Hildroth, create completely fake visual evidence, photos that seem to prove the painting's provenance, their history of ownership.
To back up the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Crucial for making the forgery seem authentic, valuable. And this whole part is orchestrated by Walter DeLute, the master forger. He's the one saying these paintings could be worth tens of millions.
Tens of millions. Okay, so they've got the fake studio, the fake photos.
Yeah.
What's the public-facing part?
The big reveal. A pivotal news conference at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. Super fancy.
Of course.
Paulie St. Clair, the lawyer with the gambling problem, takes the stage. He dramatically unveils 6 original Gustav Klimt drawings, all of a naked redhead, supposedly Hilderoth.
Okay.
Then he introduces Helen Roth, presents her as Hildroth's great-great-granddaughter, the living link to the past.
Wow, pull out all the stops.
And then, the grand finale. A wall slides open, revealing 3 large canvases, each showing a semi-nude Hildroth, who was actually Helen, of course, draped in these brightly colored gold leaf mosaic robes. Classic Klimt style.
I can just imagine the reaction. Gasps in the room.
You have to admire the layers here, the meticulous deception. One of those big paintings, plus the 6 drawings, plus all the fake photos, they actually donated them to the LA Gallery of Figurative Art.
Donated them. Why?
To build credibility. Tin Young used his father Benson's influence. Benson was a big patron of the gallery to get Walter DeLute installed as the leading authority to verify the authenticity of these works.
The forger himself is verifying them.
Exactly. So the donated pieces get authenticated, which boosts the credibility and therefore the value of the remaining 2 paintings, even though they publicly announced those 2 were not for sale. Wink, wink.
Clever. Devious but clever.
Oh.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The big twist. Helen Roth, her real name,
Yeah.
is Helen DeLute, Walter DeLute's granddaughter.
The forger's granddaughter. Bingo. It's not just a twist. It's a masterclass in the long con. The deception is woven deep, personal, a hidden core, unwavering loyalty, an impenetrable secret right at the heart of it all.
Wow. Okay. And just to show how maybe out of his depth King Young was,
Yeah.
he orders Walter to destroy the other 3 canvases.
Right. He thinks there were the 3 main ones plus 3 duplicates.
And he smugly watches a video of Walter burning what he thinks is one duplicate forgery. Feels pretty pleased with himself.
Thinks he's tied up all the loose ends. Oh, the irony.
Okay, but pulling off something this big, especially with triad involvement, that attracts attention, right? Even internally.
Absolutely. King's impulsive actions cause problems. He makes this call to Mo Fields.
Who's Mo Fields?
He's described as a master tailor, but also a professional hitman with Blue Lantern status within the Hongmian. High-ranking enforcer. King tells Mo Fields to take out some suits.
Take out suits. That sounds ominous.
It is. When Benson Young, the Dragonhead, finds out, he's furious. He calls King a Shagwa, which means fool.
A fool.
Benson then tells Mo Fields to make the mending invisible, basically confirming that suits means people and the cleanup needs to be perfect. No trace.
Chilling.
And there's this little detail. Mo Fields' little princess, presumably his daughter, gets a new Guan Yu statue. Guan Yu is this revered Chinese deity, symbolizes loyalty, righteousness, martial prowess, often worshipped by triads. It just underscores the weird mix of tradition, ritual, and brutality in their world.
Meanwhile, the police aren't completely oblivious, are they?
No. We have detectives Velma Dime and Joe Grist. They're working a wiretap, actually, right across the street from the Green Dragon restaurant, which is Benson Young's private office.
And their setup. Glamorous, I bet.
Huh. Not quite. It's described as a shabby, rented room, cluttered with equipment, coffee cups, fast food wrappers. Very gritty, real contrast to the art world glitz.
So they're piecing things together slowly.
Exactly. The tedious side of police work. They hear the suits conversation on the wiretap, and they quickly figure out it means people, not clothes.
Smart cops.
Then another detective, Alvarez, comes in with the newspaper. Headline reads, "Set decoration warehouse burns. 2 men die in the blaze."
The Clinch replica studio.
That's what they suspect. Dime immediately connects it the who and when of the suits. Grist, though, is stuck on the why. What's the motive?
Their dynamic is described as Mulder and Scully, right? not Holmes and Watson.
Yeah, suggesting it's this blend of intuition, maybe some leaps of faith alongside the methodical investigation, trying to make sense of these weird pieces.
Okay, so we have the original con, the triads cleaning up messes, the cops closing in. Surely that's complicated enough.
You'd think, but no. Enter a whole new group of con artists.
Oh, come on.
Yep. Cyrus Green, smuggler, thief, con man. Sultan Monaco, an eccentric guy claiming to be a professor of art history from a, quote, Budapest reform school.
A reform school art historian. Okay.
And Sally Yang, beautiful but deadly, heart of ice. They also have a fourth member, Wilbur Crook, and a backstory involving something called the Red Emperor disaster, where someone died and Mo Fields and Henry Young King's brother got wounded by Crook. So bad blood there already.
This is getting messy. What do they want?
They make an audacious offer to Polly St. Clair, the lawyer.
Right, the one with the gambling problem.
Exactly. They offer him $40 million for the 2 remaining Klimt forgeries, claiming it's for an Austrian industrialist whose family collection apparently includes Nazi-stolen paintings.
$40 million. For forgeries, they maybe suspect are forgeries.
Or maybe they think they're real but stolen. Or maybe they just smell money in desperation. Plus, they offer Polly a $1 million finder's fee, all cash, payable in San Francisco.
That's a tempting offer for a guy with gambling debts, but sounds incredibly dangerous.
Extremely. It sets up this perilous road trip. Polly and Helen have to drive the fake Klimts up the Pacific Coast Highway in a Mercedes.
Scenic route for a high-stakes delivery.
You could say that. And guess who's following them? Mo Fields, the hitman, and King Young.
Oh, boy. This is going to end badly.
Or spectacularly badly. Out of nowhere, a black Ford van driven by Crook, the fourth member of that new crew, rams the Mercedes. At the same time, Zoltan Monaco tries to run Mo Fields and King's car right off the cliff.
Total chaos. An ambush.
Absolute mayhem. The crash leaves Monaco unconscious. Helen is trapped in the wrecked Mercedes. Polly's injured. King is just dazed.
What about the paintings?
Amidst the chaos, Crook actually manages to grab the 2 paintings, gets them into his van, but the van is damaged. It somehow reverses and goes right over the cliff. Crook, the paintings, everything, into the Pacific Ocean.
Bong, just like that.
Gone. And just to tidy up, Mo Fields then pushes Monaco's wrecked car over the cliff too. No witnesses, no evidence left, except for the survivors.
Wow. So King Young's grand scheme ends with the paintings at the bottom of the ocean. How does he explain that to his father?
Pathetically, he tells Benson the whole scheme only cost maybe $100,000, maybe $150,000. Claims Helen and the artist, meaning Walter, just fled, scared off by the hijacking attempt.
He doesn't mention the crash, the rival cons.
Doesn't seem like it. Benson is just furious, frustrated, tells King to take a nice long vacation and basically get lost until he smartens up.
So King thinks the paintings are gone. Benson thinks King is an idiot. But wait. You mentioned Walter burning canvases earlier.
Ah, yes. This is where it gets really interesting. This is the true art of the grift. This is always have a plan B.
Okay, tell me.
We get a flashback. Remember King watching Walter burn a duplicate forgery?
Yeah, he's so smug about it.
He was watching Walter burn blank canvases.
Blank canvases.
Blank canvases. Meanwhile, Helen is filming Walter with her phone as he tosses the 3rd duplicate Klimt forgery, a real forgery, not blank, into the fire pit. And Walter says to her, "Always have a plan B, my dear. You never know how these things will play out."
Whoa. So King had no idea he was played.
Completely played. He thought he was destroying evidence, but he was just part of their Plan B setup. He was a pawn in a much bigger game run by Walter and Helen.
So, if the paintings didn't go into the ocean, where are they?
The final act. We cut to Bobby Bloom, the ex-DGSE agent from the casting call.
Right, him.
He's in a fancy suite at the Windsor Arms Hotel in Toronto, sipping brandy. And leaning against the wall. The actual 2 duplicate forged Klimt canvases, the ones King thought were destroyed, the ones that supposedly went off the cliff.
Toronto. Okay, the international travel required. It all clicks.
Exactly. And who is Bobby meeting? Christoph Fuchs, an Austrian art dealer.
Representing the mysterious industrialist.
Representing a wealthy industrial magnate, yes.
Yeah.
Described as having too much money and not enough scruples to worry about details like provenance. Especially maybe if he thinks he's getting back Nazi-stolen art, even if it's, well, not.
And Bloom's motivation here. Just the money.
Money, yes, but also a little something else. As a French Jew, Bloom explicitly says he has no problem taking this man's money for a couple of relatively worthless forgeries. A bit of historical justice, perhaps, in his mind.
So the deal goes through.
Oh, yeah. big time. $1.5 million for Bloom's fee, and $40 million wire transferred for the paintings themselves.
$40 million.
Forgeries.
For forgeries.
Yeah.
The meticulous planning, the layers of deception, the sheer audacity, it all pays off.
And the ending. Who gets the happy ending here?
The celebration. Bobby Bloom joins a smiling Helen DeLuc and her grandfather, Walter, the master forger. They're toasting their success with Crystal Brut champagne, no less, a $300 bottle.
Nice touch.
They confirm Paulie St. Clair, the lawyer, will get his cut, presumably for playing his part. And Walter, he's celebrating his retirement. Masterfully executed.
Wow. What a story. So what does this all mean for us, the audience, listening to this? Well, I think this deep dive into the Redhead ripoff really shows how the most cunning deceptions, the best grifts, often hide right there in plain sight. You see multiple layers of trickery, misdirection, and what looks like a total loss for one person, like King Young, can actually be someone else's ultimate, perfectly planned gain.
Right. It makes you think about narratives, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It raises this really important question. When information is so carefully curated, when it's presented with such compelling, seemingly authentic narratives like the Hildroth story, the rediscovered paintings, how much does that perceived authenticity influence our judgment? Can we, ever truly know the real story behind what we see and hear, especially when someone is skilled at manipulating perception?
So consider this. In a world where the art of the grift can be executed with this kind of precision, this level of detail,
Yeah.
how many other masterpieces or even facts that we encounter every day might actually be the result of someone's perfectly executed plan B?
Something to definitely mull over.
Indeed. Until our next deep dives.